now let's look at the blurb. So the blurb, probably would have been a good idea for me to get a book. Oh, go and get it. The blurb is on the back of the book. It's the part of the book that tells you a bit about the story, but not much. This is where a lot of people make a mistake. They think it's got to tell everyone all the things that happen in the book. That's a synopsis. Everything that happens in your book is a synopsis if you do it in a shorter version. Synopses are important. It's pretty much a sentence for each scene of your book, and it's for the editor to know how the book starts, goes on, and finishes. But a book blurb does not tell people how it finishes. It just promotes the book. It's also not a pitch line. That's a one-sentence line. That's really important too. And we'll actually have a look at those today too. But book blurb just gives people a bit of a taste for what type of book it is. The size is usually 100 to 150 words. For me, personally, the shorter the better. If you can intrigue me, I want to pick up your book and read it. If it's got too much information, I start going, don't care, don't care, don't care. Ooh, that's good. You know, so you don't want people to think that. Shorter is better. And harder to write, especially if you know your story. It's harder to cut things out. It's a tease for your story, so it's advertising. Think of it, if it was in a catalogue and somebody was looking at it, that would be the catalogue copywriting. It also captures what sort of story it is. So it should be really clear when you have a blurb. Is this a thriller? Is it a horror? Is it a children's book? By the language it uses, the word, the vocabulary it uses, but also the sorts of things, the elements that are in there. And it also shows a point of difference. So what's special about your book? And we're going to have a look at that. So your book might be a romance. That's fine, there's a lot of romance. So what's quirky about your romance? What's a little bit different about your romance? The back of the book or the pitch in the query letter. So when you if you're sending your manuscript to an editor to appraise, you will also send your blurb. So you do write your blurb before you have a book ready to publish, because you want to use it as a sales pitch to an editor. And you'll also send a synopsis as well. So they get the short blurb, then they read your synopsis. If you're self-publishing, obviously you do have to write one yourself. Now, some of the things we're going to look at that go into book blurbs. One of the things we want to look at is the vocabulary. That's the language that we use. So I've put up one that was really popular in America a few years ago, but not so popular that we all know it. And that is Neil Shusterman's Unwind. If you like YA or sci-fi, it's definitely a good one to look at. So I'll just read out in case you can't set up the back. The Second Civil War was fought over reproductive rights. The chilling resolution, life is inviolable from the moment of conception until age 13. Between the ages of 13 and 18, however, parents can have their child unwound, whereby all of the child's organs are transplanted into different donors, so life doesn't technically end. Connor is too difficult for his parents to control. Risa is a ward of the state, not enough to be kept alive. And Lev is a type, a child conceived and raised to be unwound. Together they may have a chance to escape and to survive. Yeah, so want to look at that vocabulary now, and I'm going to ask you, what sort of genre do you think this is? Or who do you think the audience is? What can you tell me from the blurb, from the language that you heard there? Who do you think would read it? YAs, yeah. So we've got a lot of language in there that tells us that this is aimed at kids. So we can also see that it's also meant to be a bit of a thriller. It's got a chilling resolution, so we know it's not a romance. But the language that tells us this is aimed at kids is until age 13. So we already know that we want about 13-year-olds to read this because they're safe until the age of 13. Parents, any book that's concerned about parents, it's usually kids and they're complaining about the parents. These parents are pretty crap. They want to unwind their kids. Parents can have their child unwound. Now, we'd all think about it sometimes, whereby all the child's organs are transplanted. So that again tells it's kind of a thriller horror, because it's got, you know, you're getting body organs taken out of you. So life doesn't technically end, which gives it a little bit of a sci-fi feel to it. And we've got again that language that kids use. Connor, too difficult for his parents. A lot of kids are going to relate to that. They're going to go, that's me. I'm too difficult for my parents. Risa feels like she's not enough. That's again, especially young girls can get that feeling that they're just not good enough. And this one is a lever type. He's raised to be unwound. So that's one of those, the 7th child of the family is going to be donated. So he's raised to be unwound, and together they're going to try and escape and survive. So you've got some action in there too. So the language that was used in the blurb conveys to the reader who it's for. Because you don't want the wrong person picking up your book, because they won't like it. What I would like you to do now is to have a think, what is your story genre? Get that clear in your head. And then we'll skip another page because we put them in the order until you get the one with the line down the middle. In your genre, what are some key words that you would use in your genre? So let's think about it. If you were having the genre science fiction, the word technical might be a word that you use. Robotics or industry or any of these words that you might think fit your genre. All I want you to do now is take a couple of minutes to brainstorm some words for your genre. They don't have to be about your story, just your genre.